Welcome to Canine Revolution Radio. Presented by Canine Revolution Dog Training, enhancing the dog and owner relationship through education, balance, and pack instinct.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Canine Revolution Radio. Today, we've got the training team sitting down, and I've got a couple scenarios. I'm going to ask random questions. I'm going to ask random questions to anybody at the table, including Ben. And these are what I call what-if scenario. What if this happens? What would you do? What would your response be? Right? And I might ask everybody the same scenario, or I might just ask one person the scenario.
Why'd you look at Kevin?
So, you know.
Get ready.
Go throw a couple out there. All right. So, anybody have any questions before we get started?
Is this like, you should have done like a buzzer thing.
No, I'm gonna say your name.
Oh.
You get to grab the scenario first.
Yeah.
You're like, I got this one, but not the next
Challenge.
one.
But yeah,
All
next
right.
pass.
We ready? Some might be dog related, some might not be.
what are we doing here? This is a game
Free
show?
for all. All right, Chris.
Oh boy.
First up.
Lay it on me.
What if you are driving down the road and someone rear ends you? What do you do? Immediate actions. Go.
There's so many factors here.
Let's go.
I'm driving.
Let's go.
I'm not at a stop.
Immediate action.
I'm not at a stop.
Here's the question. What if you are driving down the road, whatever speed you normally go at, which is usually excessive, and someone rear ends you?
I'm all right. So I'm moving. I'm in motion, and I get rear-ended. I'm going to safely slow down and get off to the side of the road and navigate so that I'm safely coming to a stop if I can. There's a lot of factors here. Are we talking Mack truck? We talking a Suburban?
Just go with it.
All right.
You can dictate.
If I can, I'm going to safely pull over.
Well,
assess.
there is one factor that needs to be brought up. You do drive a Ford, so you probably, if you get rear-ended, you're just
if I'm in the
immediately
Ford,
done.
I'm rear-ended,
immediately done.
I just keep driving. I probably won't even know I got rear-ended, most likely. I'm assuming I'm
because you're just used to a broken truck.
Oh, man.
All right, sorry. Go ahead. So
get rear-ended by a Dodge. Good to go. Just keep rolling. Actually, I might put it in reverse and then mash on the gas. But anyway. So I'm assuming I'm in my little Jetta, my Volkswagen, and I'm going to safely navigate off to the side of the road, assess my surroundings. I'm going to look in my rear view. Who rear-ended me? Is this attack? Am I under attack? Or probably not. Probably just somebody texting and driving.
So now you got to go down two paths. What if it's just someone accidentally did it? What if it's a brutal attack on you?
Could be. It could be.
So
these are things that's going through my head. I'm assessing.
Right. So now you've created two scenarios from the scenario. So I need you to talk us through both paths.
It just depends on how it unfolds, where I'm going to go. There's unlimited paths that we could go down here.
Well, you better consolidate.
We could do a whole
path.
episode just on this scenario. If I get off to the side of the road, I'm just going to generally assess. I look in the rear view. I see an airbag deployment. I see like an old lady or something. Probably not under a threat. Probably. Don't sleep on an old lady, but probably not a threat, right? So I'm gonna get off the road, make sure everything's good. Maybe do like a little self-assessment. I'm good. All my limbs are still attached. I'm not bleeding or anything. I get out of the car. I might check on the other person, especially old lady. Maybe she's unconscious. Maybe that airbag.
Why are you saying it's an old lady? What if it's a young guy?
Then take care of yourself, bro. You know what I'm saying? No, I'll check on it. I'll check on whoever it is. That's the path I chose. It's an old lady.
All right,
that's where we're going.
You're on your path.
So anyway, whoever it is, I'm gonna check on that person. Hey, you okay? And then I'll probably, just depending on what we're talking damage wise, maybe notify the proper authorities. If it's nothing, I'll just okay. You good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, good to go. We might part ways. Depends.
All right, good to go.
That's a random scenario.
Good. Yeah, random scenario. All right. Let's see. Lexi, what if you are on a walk and your dog is showing signs of overheating / overexhaustion? What actions are you taking?
That's a good scenario. Sorry.
So, my dog right now is only 17 weeks. So currently, immediate actions, I would pick him up.
Wow,
that's the
immediate
big softy.
That's the
I
go-to.
would pick him up. I would carry him to wherever we're supposed to be, or wherever we started to get water or AC or cool down. But also, I'd probably be fairly prepared, and I would have water with me. So if in that case, say that I am prepared, I did bring water with me. I'm just going to go to shade. I'm going to find, a tree or even any area of shade. Might have to carry him to the shade just because, once again, I am soft.
That's okay.
But
we
get
know.
him to the shade and then give him the water. Try to see if he can, if he's, coming back towards, not overheating, that water help, the shade help. If he's good to go, might still walk back where I came from, kind of end the walk there. If he doesn't seem good to go after shade and water, then definitely carrying him all the way back.
Good to go. Piggyback off that question, what types of behaviors would you be looking for to tell maybe he's overheating, maybe he's not?
For like curling of the tongue, so like excessive, like instead of just like not just panting, just like where that tongue is relaxed out of his mouth, but straight curling up of the tongue, just like fatigue. So instead of like walking, he's kind of like lagging behind, which wouldn't be normal because he's a Doberman.
Because they never lag behind.
They don't. They're always ready to go.
Lagging behind, maybe
forward.
actually collapsing. If it's to that extent, it would be kind of like, faltering, falling over, doesn't seem to be walking 100% correctly.
Okay.
Lethargic.
Yeah.
Lethargic for sure. All right. Kevin, what if someone expresses to you that they believe all pit bulls are aggressive and can never, ever be trusted? What's your response?
And actually get this a lot, a lot of breed dependent questions, but oftentimes I start to try to clear up that gray area between breed and certain behaviors, so instantly I start telling them, hey, it's more dependent upon personality. And it's not necessarily that they can't be trusted. If you're dealing with high levels of aggression, and you go through the proper training and you follow the proper structure in your home, you can overcome it. You can build that trust, build that bond, build that respect through the training to where you have a more, calmer home environment. But as far as it just being breed dependent upon pit bulls, it's not the case. It's just dogs in general have varying levels of personalities, varying levels of insecurity, which is causing the aggression or, whatever the case is that you're dealing with. And either way, it can be addressed and can be overcome.
What if it's someone that's never had a pit bull, just a random Joe, and he's just scared of it?
Can't change their mind. You can break it down. You can even, show them. Like, I had 2 pits for the longest time. You can meet Wally. You know what I mean? Like, you meet Wally, you'll fall in love with pit bulls. But it's hard too. Some people are so stuck in that frame of mind. It's hard to change their mind. But all you can do is provide them with the adequate information. And be like, hey, it's the most popular breed out here. Don't you think there'd be a lot more incidents? If that were true and clear across the board. So, things like that.
All right, good to go. Let's see here. Samantha. What if your dog is outside at a park shaking? What would you be thinking? What would you do?
Panic. No, I'm just so shaking could be, derived from multiple different things. It can be an anxiety thing. It could be an arousal thing. If it's a dog with extremely high drive, just hyper excited or aroused at something, aka Georgia, you say that she shakes in arousal whenever she sees the ball, it could be that. For most dogs, it'll likely be, anxiety. So if you are at a park and your dog is shaking, likely, you want to identify, what's going on in the environment, what is the dog looking at, what's other body language that they're exhibiting, if it is like an anxious thing, you want to, of course, build up their confidence in vicinity of these things that are making it anxious. So that would be like engagement and stuff. Maybe increase your threshold from whatever is making them anxious and work your way up to it. So that would be my plan of action.
Good to go.
What else it could be? Short-haired dog. Could be cold.
Oh,
could be cold. Maybe I need to throw a little sweater on. You know what I'm saying?
So you're starting to sound like Lexi.
That actually
you
was
gonna
me
pick
just
him up?
last
Me and
week.
Lexi we have had a couple of car rides together recently, so
That is true.
I mean, if
feel
it's
like
like
our
6
views
feet of
align.
snow, I'd be like, okay, yeah, it's probably.
All right, good to go. All right. Let's see. Chris.
give it to me.
You ready?
I'm always ready, baby.
Is it
What
about
if?
cars again?
What if you find your dog chasing a snake? What are your immediate actions? What are you doing?
My personal dog.
Your personal dog. You're in your yard.
Recall.
Okay.
He's coming. Oh yeah. Talking about Vader, he's coming, boys. But
All right.
let's just say he didn't.
Uh-huh.
I've got my system of communication in place.
Uh-huh.
Say Vader, come. He's like, hey, I want this snake. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna correct him. Use my remote collar, my hands-free tools. Comes back to me, and then I'm gonna say, good boy. I'm gonna love him. Give him some belly rubs.
Why would you?
What? I mean,
You have been hanging out with Lexi.
I'm gonna reward him. I'm gonna reward him.
What if? Why would you recall him instead of letting him just kill the snake? Do you like snakes at your place?
Sometimes I do. Some snakes I do. Some I don't.
Okay.
Some I don't.
So why wouldn't you let him just go and grab the
I
snake?
mean, I don't want to risk him. I don't want to risk him getting bit by something. Like in the moment, you're probably not analyzing. I'm not like perfect at analyzing what the snake is. Maybe copperheads I can recognize pretty quickly. But other than that,
too,
I'm
no.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, Kevin had a recent copperhead incident. But yeah, I can copperheads. I'm pretty good. I can recognize those quickly. Other snakes, I'm like, I don't know. So I don't have time to just sit there and figure out what it is, what we're dealing with. I'm just, if he's going after something, I'm probably just going to recall so I can gain control, kind of assess the situation. Maybe if it is a snake, okay, go ahead and get it. No, I wouldn't do that. But I'll take care of it myself, whether relocate it or do whatever I got to do. But maintain control of my dog, not risk getting him snake bit.
Good to go. Lexi, what if you find your dog chasing a snake? What do you do?
So, I mean, mine would be a little different just because, like Chris says, his communication, he does have that remote collar.
Mm-hmm.
So mine right now doesn't have a remote collar. So if he was chasing a snake and I didn't have a leash on him, I'd probably chase after him. Just because, I mean, I wouldn't want him to think that chasing snakes in the future is always going to be okay. Because like Chris says, you don't know whether that snake is going to be poisonous or not. He could get bit. So I'd want to correct him. Hopefully, I generally take him out at least with a leash on, even if I'm not holding it. So I would give a leash correction at that point, because with his point in his training, once I, chase him, get the leash, then I would still provide that correction like Chris was talking about, just to associate, hey, chasing snakes is going to lead to a correction because I don't want you chasing snakes in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But so first of all, if I wasn't holding the leash, which sometimes I don't, just because he's also fine with that way too, but I would chase after him as fast as I can, grab that leash, give a correction, bring him back.
Okay. Kevin, what if you find your dog chasing a snake? What do you do?
Honestly, it's going to be pretty similar to Chris because the Dennis recall is pretty good. But if not, again, have the remote collar in place.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, exactly the same. I'm not going to allow him to interact with it. I know what copperheads look like now.
Mm-hmm.
On the phone with you,
It's burned in your brain.
I see the Hershey Kisses, man. That's how I knew. But I'm going to put that recall in place, and he's got like a half second to start moving towards me before I'm implementing that remote collar, because in that moment, he could just be so zoned in on that snake that the only thing that may bring him out of that would be that correction to interrupt that mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another option too. Is instead of doing the recall, you can just straight up correct them. Like, hey, I'm going to just establish, kind of like what Lexi's talking about. I'm going to establish, like, don't go near those snakes. Those are snakes are no. You see a snake, because sometimes, like, let's be real. Yes, we're outside with our dogs paying attention, but are we always like literally watching our dog? Now, sometimes maybe I'm on the computer, maybe I'm on my phone, my dog's off.
Maybe,
maybe
there's
there's
a
a
hammock
snake
sleeping.
Maybe I'm in the hammock. I don't have a hammock. What are you talking about? You can't prove that. Maybe there's a snake coiled up somewhere under something that I don't, under my shed or whatever, and Vader's out there sniffing around. He might encounter the snake, and I don't even see what's going on. But if we can start, we can kind of build some repetitions of, hey, don't go near. He sees a snake. He's like, yep, nope, that's off limits. Walk away. So that's another option as well.
Yeah.
You could always go back and capture the snake, then set up some scenarios.
You could. We've done that a couple times.
A little snake
Better be
conversion
careful.
therapy.
Better be careful.
Yeah, if it's
What-
not a
what
copperhead,
kind
if it's
of snake
copperhead
it-
shovel or something.
Yeah.
So Kevin did have a recent situation with a copperhead. He's taking care of the dogs. For those wondering, he's taking care of the dogs. It's like 8 p.m. I'm in my relaxed attire.
AKA
Out
underwear.
of uniform. Out of uniform.
Underwear and mud boots is what he came out in.
And Kevin calls me, holy shit. Basically, he stepped into the wood line for unknown reasons, and then a copperhead chased him out of it. And so he called me and came out there.
I don't
took
know
a
if he
look
chased
at
me out of it or it just made me jump out of it.
He wanted a piece of you, boys. That was he was thick.
it. It was a
They would
big
just
one. He
sat
was
there and
moving
stared at
quick.
each other for like, it felt like eternity. I was like, where's Chad? Here comes Mango, like walking up. I'm like, Mango, get out of here.
Hey, let Mango handle the situation, boys.
All right, Samantha, what if you find your dog chasing a snake? What are your actions?
No bump.
Short and simple. Good to go. All right.
My answer's already been said by.
Wait,
two
I got
people.
a question.
Uh-huh.
What if you find your dog chasing a snake?
What if I found
Without
my
a
dog?
remote collar.
Well, first of all, I always set myself up for success and have my remote collar on.
Hypothetically.
Except for Sarabi. She's the old lady.
Mm.
Yeah.
Don't really have a remote collar on her. So,
So Robbie can
So
handle
Sarabi
herself.
did it.
but
Against the snake.
Sarabi's recall, 99% of the time you say come, she's coming.
Yeah.
So, but if I caught my dogs chasing a snake, recall them, no bump, right? They don't immediately come because they're in a very high arousal, increase the effective correction level, continue with correction protocols, no bump, right? As soon as they turn around, good, whatever. They come back to me.
Belly rubs.
Good to go.
Here's some hot dogs.
I have done some snake aversion training specifically with my dogs on a copperhead. So, but that's something you got to maintain as well. So,
And you got to do, if I'm not mistaken, per each snake.
oh
correct?
yeah, because each snake has their own scent.
Right.
So whenever you're doing snake aversion training, you want the dog to fully have the scent of the snake in their system. You want them to make sure they see the snake, right? So those are the two things you want, and then you start creating that association that those things are bad, and to move away from it.
So just
So-
because you do that for copperheads doesn't mean it's good to go for rattlesnakes, or
Rattlesnakes,
cottonmouths.
grass snakes.
So we
you gotta
need
do it
a
for every-
Ragnar snake pit, basically, is what you're saying.
Basically, yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if there's like a random cobra, someone had a cobra, like Adrian had a cobra
What the hell?
that escaped,
Just,
it's
Adrian's
in the
Cobra.
town,
Cobra.
you got to do a version on the cobra,
Yeah.
Yeah, let me borrow that Cobra for a minute.
All right. Next question. Let's see. Lexi, what if your dog bites you when you try to take a toy from them?
So that would be resource guarding. So I'm automatically going to establish that is never going to be okay, especially now because my dog's a puppy. So right now I want to shut that behavior down so that as he gets older, he's not going to be resource guarding over anything in the future. So with that, once again, it'd be a correction, which I said he's not on the remote collar. So I would have his first saver or whatever I'm using to correct him that day. With leash corrections, I would tell him, no, I'm not going to give him those privileges to have toys because he's telling me, hey, I'm feeling like that's mine, but that should be a privilege I'm only giving him. So he's not going to get those. And that's a privilege I'll introduce back in the future. But I would definitely be correcting that resource guarding so that he doesn't think that is a behavior he can, that can become a habit. Because if it's the first time he's doing it, I would immediately shut it down.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Kevin, what if your dog bites you when you try to take a toy from him?
I mean, ideally, you would, never be in that situation. You know what I mean? You would have that control, that out command. If not, if you were trying to get him to drop it and he wasn't dropping it, you could come in with a treat to divert his attention, so that way you're just not putting yourself in that position.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you are in that position, of course, a correction would happen.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, like when I play tug with him,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm on a smaller tug or a smaller pillow,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in his excitement, he will redirect onto my hand, still working on that targeting to get in the center. Part of that's me, part of that's him.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I'm just going to end the game.
Mhm.
I'm going to say, no, all done,
Mm-hmm.
put everything away just because that was just not a good repetition.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, ideally, you could just avoid that situation as a whole. But if in it, I would, correct the behavior in some form or another.
So set up your environment, set up your scenario
Yeah, just-
for success for you.
Absolutely.
In the future, right? All right. Samantha, question. What if you're out in the town, you're training a dog, you happen to see another dog trainer out in town, and you say, hey, how's it going? and they just ignore you. They just blow you off. They just straight up ignore you.
Which they will every time.
What are you gonna do?
Keep walking. If they want to ignore me, I'm just like, okay, have a good day.
Yeah. All right.
That's
Chris,
pretty much
what
it.
would you do?
Well, so I say hi, give them a little wave. They blow me off. Excuse me. Hey, excuse me, ma'am or sir. Hey, hello. Gonna make sure that they see that maybe they didn't hear me. So I'm just gonna make sure. If they're walking away, I'm gonna probably pursue them.
You're just gonna be
Excuse me. Can you?
You're just gonna be overtly friendly to them.
No. I mean, what is what it is. Like sometimes there are people, like not even just trainers, just people I'll give a nod to, or I'll say hi, and they'll just blow me off. I'm like, copy
Happens
that.
to Chad all the time.
Probably.
Really?
All the time.
We walk into Lowe's. He's like, "How's it going?" And everyone literally just ignores him.
Trying to be nobody's friendly anymore. We've lost that here in America, but yeah, I'll probably just whatever.
Or you pass that one person. Hey, they start talking to you, and now you're trapped.
Now,
you're in a 2-hour conversation.
Backfired. Yeah,
That's what he's looking for. He wants that.
Yeah.
Or we go somewhere as a group. Let's just say this is a real scenario. We go somewhere as a group. Me, Chris, Kevin, we're training. There's a lady. She's looking at us. I walk up to her. I'm like, hey, good morning. She walks right past me.
Stone cold face.
To Chris. Chris is like, hey, good morning. She walks past him. Kevin's standing there, sunglasses on.
I'm not even there.
Beard,
he's
tatted
just
up,
looking into the distance.
Stone
She
cold.
walks right up to him, smiles at him. Are you a dog trainer? Just wants to talk to Kevin.
Mind you, we're all wearing the same thing.
We're all wearing the same thing. It's just me and Chris look friendly. Kevin, not necessarily.
I mean,
tattoos,
let's be
maybe.
real. He looks mean. He looks mean.
Tattoos.
He look mean.
He's mean mugging this old lady, and she wants to talk to him.
Until I snap out and I'm like, hey, how you doing?
Oh yeah, then Kevin's like the friendliest guy ever.
I literally don't
And
understand.
then we're like, now we gotta wait for Kevin. There for an
That's
hour.
what we do now?
Well, we leave him.
It was Azalea Square, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right, Lexi, question.
Cracking
That's
himself.
a good question.
Can't
Right
get through it.
there.
Lexi, question for you.
Good.
Here we go. What if the apocalypse happens? It's the apocalypse. What are your immediate actions? Who do you hope to be in your survival group, and why?
I would probably say,
What
Dang.
happens? It's the apocalypse.
What?
It's a virus. It's a virus outbreak. Zombie virus outbreak.
It's
okay,
when we
so
get
I
to the
would
Zulu
only
chain.
want my dog. I wouldn't want any other person
You're gonna
with
die.
me.
You're dead.
No.
You're dead. You're not gonna.
What I
die.
would
Talk
do
us
is-
through your survival
Well,
plan.
have you seen that one movie with Will Smith and he has that like German Shepherd? That movie.
He wanted to
What is
adopt that dog
Is that
afterwards.
I Am Legend?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
Am
That
Legend.
is?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had no
Okay.
choice. There was nobody
so
else left.
basically, I would choose
Yeah,
that.
no choice.
You know what happened at the end of the movie,
He
right?
went crazy, and I think
He had
die?
to kill his dog. Spoiler
Well, yeah,
alert.
but I think he died too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
After he killed
Okay.
his dog.
Anyway,
All right, this
if
is a
it's
good
the
scenario.
apocalypse,
This is a good
Lexi
strategy.
spoiler
anyway,
alert.
if it's the apocalypse, I'm probably gonna end up dying eventually anyway. But like, I feel like I wouldn't want to live that long in an apocalypse. But anyway, I would kind of do what he's doing, where he like found one house, which since I live with Samantha, it'd probably be Samantha's house. But
Bad choice. Bad choice.
what I would do is I would barricade like all the doors and windows, and then it would just be me and my dog, and I would go like raid grocery stores during the daytime, and then
Nice.
just take all the food, and then basically just sit in my house for a long time
Nice.
with my dog.
We'd have to get rid of Adrian because he would eat up
oh
all the
yeah,
stock.
I forgot about
There's
Adrian.
a lot of
Just
opinions
well-
on this
Adrian.
question.
Well, the virus probably got Adrian first because he's
He was patient zero.
yeah he volunteered.
All right, so
But,
so there's a lot of feedback on this question. All right, Chris, what would you do? Apocalypse?
I would survive.
How?
Mm.
What's your
I don't
survival
know if I
plan?
can disclose my strategy.
What's your survival plan?
That's what I was thinking.
I mean,
Chris and Kevin
I
are
mean-
big time apocalypse prepared.
let's just say I have made preparations
Uh-huh.
for that kind of scenario. If that were to happen,
Uh-huh.
I'm semi-prepared. I'm not. I'm always preparing, so I'm still.
Oh.
It's still a work in progress. So
Mm.
there are still things in the self-reliance realm that I want to still improve upon with food-wise, growing your own food, that kind of stuff, right?
Chickens?
Chickens. I mean, I got a guy that has some chickens. If it came down to it, I could always steal a couple. Probably wouldn't even notice. But
That guy might be doing head counts on his chickens.
He might. That guy might be you. But yeah, being
So
self-reliant.
you have a plan.
I have a plan.
You're going to survive.
I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna defend what I got. Take what I need.
You're going to be with Lexi raiding the grocery stores.
No.
Well, I just
I'm
feel
not.
like in
I'm
an
trying not to go
apocalypse,
into-
if the world was being like taken over, like you said, by zombies, like I wouldn't really want to live very long. Like honestly, I wouldn't really care very much about surviving because I feel like I'm gonna die eventually. Like the zombies are eventually going to take over, and it's like also in those movies, like the person always
I ain't
gets so
dying.
lonely and they go crazy, and so I'm like, or they get sick and tired of the people they're with. So I'm like, I would almost rather just like eat it early.
I would do
sit
pretty
there.
well.
You want to go
Sit through
Z.
it.
You want to go Z is what you're saying. You want to be a Z.
I mean, I don't know.
Look,
Dude,
if some
I don't
zombies
know
are gonna
if you
get
even,
me, they're gonna earn it. That's all I got.
like, do you even know that you're a zombie when you're a zombie, or is
No,
your
you're
brain
dead.
gone?
You're just
Okay, well then
mindlessly
sure,
walking
I'd
around
want to be a
eating
zombie.
brains.
Sure, I'm brain dead.
Now here we go. Now
Walking around.
Lexi's gonna be coming to my front door all zombie. I'm gonna have to shoot her in the head.
Kevin, what's your scenario? What would you
I
do?
think the initial thing would be to, if you could just be self-sustainable for the first couple months, that's really going to trim the fat as far as competition in your environment.
Mm-hmm.
So one good thing to have is a lot of beans, pasta, all high in caloric intake. People are like, canned goods, 90 calories on a can of green beans ain't going to get you far. But pasta, you can always make fire. You can always get water.
Good old rice.
You can also eat it raw.
Well, if you make a fire, you might attract things.
A
like
little
zombies.
small fire.
ground fire. You got to dig a hole.
Okay.
Okay. Put the fire in the hole.
Old
Good to
school.
go.
Old
Yeah.
school.
But just be set up for, to survive without going out into the world, because people are hitting those grocery stores first, and it's going to be
Panic.
a bloodbath.
Yeah, you
Like,
stay out of the
it's just-
cities, stay
yeah.
out of urban places. I mean, we see what happens whenever toilet paper gets scarce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And instead of
And
grocery
gasoline.
stores,
I had a stockpile of that. I was selling.
I know. I was stealing yours.
we're lucky enough to be out in the country. Well,
Yeah.
what's out in the country a lot of times? Supply depots.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of hitting a grocery store, hit the source.
AKA Walmart distribution.
Right.
Mhm.
Things
You know
like
what
that.
else is out in the country?
Mm-hmm.
Turkeys,
Mm.
deer,
Mm.
hogs,
Mm.
coyotes.
Mm.
I would
A lot
say
of options.
would say along with food as well, antibiotics are huge.
Oh,
even
yeah.
if you hold them until they're expired. Because
Yeah.
without proper medical care, the simplest thing will kill you.
Well, in lieu of antibiotics, you could use natural,
Here we go.
holistic
There we go.
options.
Mulk.
Mulk.
Chad,
I mean,
Chad's
I
gonna be
do
chugging mulk in the
stockpile
middle of the
cold water.
I
apocalypse.
do stockpile my Jocko supplements.
Jocko Cold
You
War.
can also just buy fish mocks from the pet store. It works the same as a moxicillin. Good to go.
Maybe.
All right,
In a
Samantha.
pinch, if you need it.
Samantha, if you're in the apocalypse,
Zombies, we're still going.
we're still in the zombie
That's
apocalypse.
a terrifying thought too.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Could
have
you
a ton
imagine?
of wood in my garage, so I would barricade
A literal ton?
that
A
a
ton?
lot of wood.
Actually, there's a lot of wood. I
A
can't
lot of
confirm.
What are we talking?
There's
What kind of? Are we talking pine? We talking oak?
You know,
Redwood?
there's a
It's
wood
heavy.
shortage right now. You
I
could
mean,
probably,
it's
uh,
not particle wood, huh?
there's a wood shortage right now. You could probably sell it, make some good money.
Probably get some gold
Or
for it.
save
We
it
need it for
Or
the
save it for the
apocalypse.
apocalypse.
You know, if
That's
you
true.
deep dive on zombies, the reason why they're so strong is because that disconnect in the brain.
They're
they
so
can
strong,
probably get
like
through
they
the wood.
exist.
Yeah, have you seen them? They tear things apart. Just rib
Do you think-
cages.
In the movies?
Or what happens is there's just like 20 of them that pile up, and the weight of the zombies just crack.
You're talking standard lumber? Nah, you're done. You're done. You're talking
Anyway.
standard
What does
lumber.
this have-
It's not. It's
Anyway,
Is this dog
heavy
training?
Let
duty.
Samantha finish.
could
got
also
the
we
next
have
question to
very
get to.
heavy duty shelves
Mhm.
in our garage. We could take apart, use that wood that is crazy thick wood,
Use that as a weapon.
and then basically
I'd make a pike out of it.
put Adrian on a diet. And then we have a lot of food.
You failed right
we have
there.
a
That
lot of
person's not
food
gonna get it.
in our
Yeah.
pantry. A lot of food. And we'll survive off of that. We have guns in the house to either shoot zombies that get in or
Or people.
just, you know,
In case you just want to check
in
out.
case you want to just, be done with life if the zombies are about to eat you.
Nah, I ain't going that way. Ain't happening. They're gonna.
I'd
have to
rather
eat me.
that than
We
a
run out of
zombie.
dog food, though.
If you
What
were
would then
cornered-
be our next course of action.
They eat our food.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but then
Well,
if we're all
I think
out of
It's a
food,
tough choice.
They're gonna earn it. They're gonna
Someone's
earn it.
gotta eat
That's
somebody
that's
else.
when we use the gun route.
That's
Hurt.
somebody's got to eat somebody else. All right, off the.
Could
off
you
the
eat your own
apocalypse.
dog? That's
Yeah.
a good
I would
scenario.
never. No.
Yes.
I definitely could.
Next
Last
topic.
resort, but yes.
Next topic. Next topic. I got another scenario. Guys. All right, everyone's going ham on the apocalypse.
Hey, you asked the question.
You got to survive.
I think about it every day.
You got to survive. All right. Let's see. Samantha, What if you are walking a dog in a neighborhood, training dog, and a random off-leash dog comes out of nowhere, runs up to you and the dog?
This happened the other day. I was walking Coda and Monty, and a French bulldog ran at us.
The same Frenchie that you always.
No, that's
okay.
a Chihuahua.
Oh,
That's
okay,
a Chihuahua.
okay.
Yeah, that Chihuahua doesn't.
I was about to say, I think you'd have learned by now.
No, that Chihuahua definitely learned its lesson. But it was a French bulldog. I'd never seen it before. Judging by its body language, I'm like, okay, this dog is insecure. It's probably not going to come up to us. But I still leash whipped it a little bit to get it, to not come up to us, because this is my first time walking Monty with Coda, and I'm like, I don't really know how Monty's going to feel about this. I trust my dog, Coda. Coda's been through this scenario, but I don't want to, inflict that conflict on either of them to feel like they need to react or whatever at this dog because it's going ham. And so I just, am making noises, cracking my leash in its general direction to
I'm just imagining this happening.
to scare it off, and then finally I just keep walking. So my dogs have something to adhere to, the leash or the heel position. And then once the lady finally retrieves her dog, I, just to instill in her mind, maybe you shouldn't let your dog run up to other dogs. I say, this dog's killed dogs before. Why would you do that? And then she felt really bad.
Give her a little scare tactic.
She was scared. She ran away.
Nice.
Good to go. All right, Kevin. What if your dog or a training dog reacts randomly at children? How would you resolve this?
So first I'm going to rely on, if I have a training dog, let's just say training dog in general, by the time I go out into an environment with children, ideally there's levels of training already instilled. There's communication in place. There's obedience to rely on. There's something to give them something else to do besides rely on reacting, give them a tool to cope with, if you will. So first of all, if I'm having an issue, maybe getting it under control, if their reaction is kind of all over the place, I'm trying to maintain heel position, but I'm having an issue, I may increase my threshold. If I'm using my remote collar and I'm going through my proper protocols of increasing the level to achieve that effective correction, but it's making it worse, I may go to a lower level and use a lower level stim to try to help interrupt that mindset, because at that point I'm just feeding into the reaction. But all the while I'm doing this, I am increasing my threshold to gain that control and find that point of reactivity. Once I have that point of reactivity, then I can begin to desensitize, work them through it, and probably not end that session right then and there, because you don't want to force anything. After all, you do want everything to be positive. Turn it into a positive experience, leave, maybe come back later, work from that same threshold and start to practice engagement and things like that to help change the association. But right then, when they have that extremely elevated mindset, I'm probably going to exit that scenario, get some good exercise in, help them balance, help them calm down, and then I'll come back and revisit it after.
Anything else anybody has to add on to that?
I mean, take your time with that kind of stuff, especially if we're talking, like, obviously training dogs, we got a timeline and we gotta, get our sessions in, and then we got to pass the tools on to the owner to be successful. But if we're talking a personal dog, especially, like, you literally are like, take your time, like same principle that I did with Vader with other dogs, work your thresholds, do, I don't know, hundreds of sessions. I don't know how many sessions I've done with him, but the key is, like Kevin said, make it positive.
Good to go. Lexi, don't look at my list.
I can't see that far. I'm blind.
What
Remember?
if-
I got all the questions. I already
What
wrote 'em
if
down.
someone asked you for a dog training book recommendation? What would your number one recommendation be?
CRDT handbook?
Hey, this is not your question.
So before Chris had said that, I actually had a different thought. I don't know of any specific titles of books right off the top of my head, which would be something I need to look up and study. But I do know that you learned a lot of your stuff from Michael Ellis, so I would definitely recommend a book written by him.
You should write a book.
Unfortunately, he's never written a book.
Okay, well, then I would recommend videos.
Roger Brantis.
He should write a
Kevin,
book.
you got a recommendation?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact names of the books, but I do remember. Well, I know one was the Canine Encyclopedia, but that one was like super sciencey. When it actually got into the training, Roger Brantis did have a few good books. That Advanced Learning Theory by I can't remember her name.
Oh, accelerated.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, that's the one. It was really broken down, but I mean, if you know what you're looking at, it made sense. But yeah, just come to us for training. We'll teach you.
Chris?
I would not make a single recommendation.
Here we go.
All
You
right.
have to make one recommendation.
No.
That's
That's misleading.
That's the question.
That's misleading to the person.
If you had to make one recommendation, you only get the choice to make one. What's your number one book?
I mean, there's got to be follow-up questions.
Nope. This is it. What's your
Are we talking
number one book?
a book that is going to get you where? Like accomplish your goal? Like, are you just wanting to learn more about the dog? You want to learn more about training tactics?
When
You know what
someone
I'm
says
saying?
dog training book, your number one book. Go.
Dog's Mind.
Sign
Good
up
choice.
for my
I would not classify it as a dog training book, though.
Okay.
But that's where you should start.
Is that
Okay.
the one I was thinking of?
It might have been.
I think so.
Is that a Bruce Vogel?
Oh, yeah. Bruce
Samantha?
Vogel. Forgot about him.
One book.
There's not one complete book that could accomplish the training material that we want.
Someone says
But
dog- mhm.
I would recommend how dogs manipulate their, what was it?
Oh, games,
Games,
pets,
pets,
play.
Games,
play.
pets,
Mhm.
play.
That's a good
Because
Vogel.
it doesn't really talk about training, but it's like most of those concepts about, how intelligent dogs can be and like manipulation and stuff. Hopefully it's a really engaging and funny book. Hopefully it's jarring enough to the person reading it
Yeah.
to encourage them to look into more about how dogs' minds work.
With real life stories too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
the big
gives
thing.
you
And,
perspective,
Yeah.
definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. I like
What's your book?
The Dog's Mine.
Dog's Mind. Good choice. Good
Extra
choice.
credit
That was
over
already
there.
said.
All right. Let's see. Chris,
What's the smirk?
what if your car tire blows while you're driving down the road?
Why
are
do you
your-
get all the vehicle
What
related?
are your immediate actions? What are you doing?
Well, I do preventative maintenance, so my tires
to
not.
your tires?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Got to check them. Check your pressure constantly.
Hit a
you know.
nail.
But if it were, non-issue. Pull over, jack it up, spare tire, rock and roll.
That's it? Sure.
Mm.
All right. Well, now that you brought it up, Chris, what if someone asks you what they should do to maintain their car?
Maintain your car. Most vehicles have a manual. If you look in the manual, it has a preventative maintenance schedule.
Mhm.
So it'll tell you at 10,000 miles, you should do this. At 20,000 miles, you should do this. You just follow that.
Mm.
Pretty easy.
Easy
But
to-
in general, you got to change your oil,
Mhm.
rotate your tires.
Mhm.
Remember, there was one time I don't think you were rotating your tires.
You did catch me. I forgot to rotate
They were kind of bald. I think one or two of them was a little bald. But yeah, you got to rotate your tires, change your oil.
I did fail. I did have a failure in tire rotations on my maintenance plan.
Yeah. So you gotta do that. So that's how you get a blowout.
But then I got on the train with Gary.
Just call Gary.
Now Gary's got me good
Now
to
he
go.
probably tells you when you need maintenance.
Oh, he tells me.
Yeah.
They send you a text.
Yeah. Automated.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, I got Gary's private number.
Yep.
He hits me up privately.
High roller.
Anyway, all right. Lexi, what if you are out training at a local farmer's market? And
I thought that was the end of the question. I was like, well, then I'm out training at a farmer's market.
Next question.
you're out training at a local farmer's market with a dog in training, and someone very angrily, they
Mm.
come up to you, they approach you, they're very upset. They don't like the training equipment that you have selected to use with this dog.
AKA remote collar.
What's your response?
I mean, so first,
What's your immediate actions?
So immediate action, no, I'm not gonna punch him. That's actually the opposite of what I was gonna say. Is with people like that, I feel like if you stay calm, confident, relaxed, it kind of makes them almost feel not dumb, but like for lack of better word, it almost makes them feel, oh, I'm not getting a reaction out of this person. They're gonna stay calm, confident, relaxed. I'm not really affecting them the way that I should, but I would. Depending on the type of person, if I felt like they could be calmed down, I would explain like, hey, this is why I'm using this training method. It might not be because they might just have a lack of understanding about the training tool that I'm using. So I would, whatever the tool is that they don't like, they're telling me, hey, I don't like this. I would explain to kind of give them a better understanding of why I'm using it, how it's, not harming the dog in any way. things like that. But if it's a person who it feels like nothing I'm going to say is going to change their opinion, I'll just, say, okay, I understand your opinion. Have a nice day. And I'm just going to, exit that situation, not really going to play into it. Because ultimately also they're just looking for someone to play into it. They're looking for someone that they can argue with. Like if they're coming up to me and I'm doing nothing, like they're looking for an argument. That's what they want. So if I have explained, in a good way what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and they're just not responding very well, I'm just going to exit the situation.
Yeah. I like how you said you're going to be calm, confident, relaxed.
Yep.
Good to go. All right. Chris, got another one for you.
Let's go.
What if someone asks you what you would do for a dog who cannot be in a kennel? It's someone talking to you. They know you're a dog trainer. They've caught you at the farmer's market. You're there with Lexi. Somebody else, while Lexi's dealing with her scenario, someone walks up to you. And they say, what would you do for...
You need to talk to this training apprentice right over here.
What if someone asks you, what would you do for a dog who cannot be in a kennel? Any kennel the dog has ever been in, the dog destroys it.
Well, I mean, talk them through the training process. Say, we've had dogs that come through our program that are just like what you're describing. And at the end of our program, they're able to be in a kennel, so it's like about teaching them what the expectations is and then understanding why can't they be in the kennel? Why are they busting out of the kennel, right? Most likely some type of anxiety-related issue, whether it's separation anxiety or just general anxiety, right? So if we know that it's anxiety-related, we know we're going to be putting them to work, balancing out their energy, giving them something to do both mentally and physically, and then also on the side, making positive associations to the kennel. Maybe we're going to do things like feed them in the kennel. Now they understand, hey, I get food in the kennel. This place is pretty good, right? While we're doing our physical mental stimulation, maybe end of the day, they're smoked. They're just exhausted. They're like, please put me in the kennel so I can go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a place of rest, a place of calm relaxation.
Yeah.
So now you're teaching them, right? They're having positive experiences. I'm eating in the kennel. I'm resting in the kennel. Maybe I have some, a couple treats and stuff like that in the kennel. Little things like that. They're like, hey, this place ain't so bad. And they learn how to be in there for short periods of time. You can make it longer and longer over time as you need to.
Yeah. Good to go. Kevin, what if someone calls you? Say, I heard you were a dog trainer, right?
That's dummy.
And they say, or even better, Kevin, you're at the farmer's market with all of us, and someone walks past Lexi, and Lexi says, hey, they walk right past her. Someone walks past Samantha. Samantha says, hey, good morning. They walk right past her. They walk past Chris, who's trying to shake their hand. They walk past me, who's trying to give him a high five. They finally get to you. They smile. They want to talk. Happens all the time. And they say that they have a 3-year-old dog, and the dog has randomly started to become food aggressive. They go on walks with the dog. The dog is searching out food the entire time that they're walking, and if they try to stop the dog from grabbing food or they take away the food from the dog becomes aggressive. What do you say?
I'm going to start, just if they're just looking for general advice instead of, coming to training to address it. Of course, you can just start with talking about some structure that can be implemented. Controlled feeding. Is this dog free feeding all day? Does he perceive this resource to be his? Does he perceive any resource to be his? Toys, whatever the case may be. You need to put everything up, control it, feed him on a schedule. Don't ever stick your hand down in the food to try to take away the food bowl. You're just getting a bad repetition at that point. You're not setting yourself up for success. But you need to start teaching him that is a resource that you control, and in turn, build a little bit of respect with him. If he's seeking out food on the walks, or whatever the case may be, and he's going for it at that point, again, don't put your hands down, try to take it away from him, but you need to pay attention to what your dog's doing. Maybe get him away from what he's trying to get. Do not allow him to get that reinforcement. Do not allow him to get that empowerment. And it's one of those things that it grows over time with these little things that, of course, we all can see. So you may talk them through, all right, well, tell me a little bit about the dog's life. Tell me about what their day-to-day looks like, what's going on. Maybe this dog has too much freedom.
Yeah.
And, especially with the right mindsets, if that dog gets empowered in the slightest, you may take it and run with it. So we're going to start buckling down and telling them some simple protocols to follow to start help alleviating it. But overall, recommend the training, of course.
Yeah. Good to go. Lexi, what if someone says they have a 1-year-old dog and the dog has shown fear over any brown leather shoes. And
This is
anytime
very
the
specific.
dog sees any brown leather shoes, right, the dog runs away scared. The dog has never done this before. It's a year old.
Mm-hmm.
What might be the root cause? What should these people do?
The root cause could just be an insecurity thing that developed over time. So it's like they might not have even known, but maybe the owner was wearing those brown leather shoes every time. Maybe one time the owner came home from work and they yelled at the dog because the dog did something else. It was wearing the shoes. It was taking off the shoes as it was yelling at the dog. Then they associated, hey, that thing's, moving. This could be what's making them nervous,
So what do we call that?
Oh, a superstitious association. So it's like that dog is associating those shoes with something other than what the handler intended. So what you're going to want to do is change that association. So you'll give them, I mean, this sounds really weird, but you're going to give them positive experiences around the shoes. So
Good to go.
you're going to, maybe have the shoes far away, but still kind of in the vicinity, and you give them their meals. So they can see the shoes while they're eating. That's becoming a positive thing. We talk about engagement a lot, which is, focus building, giving them positive experiences around those things. So we can be doing engagement, with the shoes somewhere where they can see them. But since the dog is freaking out about those shoes, you're going to have them farther away at the beginning and slowly move them closer and closer. So you're not going to, have them touching the shoes right when you're starting this. You're going to be working with the shoes, maybe in the kitchen, you're in the living room, but they can still see them. And then you're slowly going to move them closer and closer while making sure that those shoes are never anything negative. So maybe the owner stops wearing them. The owner doesn't, correct the dog or, say anything negative to the dog while wearing the shoes. The owner has to take a break from the shoes, which is also a little weird, but maybe needs some new
I
shoes.
ain't taking a break from my boots. I like my boots.
I mean, this applies to, brooms, vacuums, things like that. We've had it before, dogs come through and they're very insecure around stationary objects. I remember one in particular. I couldn't even walk by the target ball to say it's square, so same concept.
All right, good to go. I like it. All right, we're running out of time, so last question, Ben. Ben, last question. You ready?
Can I answer the apocalypse question real quick?
Oh yeah, you didn't get to answer.
He's got a shotgun. That's
He
all
just
he
said
needs.
we're running out of time. You want to go back to the
He wanted to
apocalypse?
go-
It's real fast. If you've if you've ever seen the Book of Eli,
Oh yeah, I've seen
that's
it.
a good one.
my goal is basically just to be Denzel Washington.
Well, you got to be blind though.
Roaming
Then I'll
around.
blind myself. I'll take
Wait,
bleach.
it's
I'll
been
take
a while
bleach
since
from
I've
my laundry room and just pour it in my eyes, and then
I mean, basically, he's a badass and he's blind.
become.
Wait. So he's roaming around.
Yeah.
He's got a shopping cart, right?
It's been so long, but that movie, there's no.
No,
zombies.
that's in the
Bible.
beginning.
He's got
The
a Bible.
girls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's got like the one remaining Bible in the world.
Oh, really?
But it's
And
braille.
Everybody's trying to get this Bible from him because of the power that it contains, right? But at the end, it's braille, and you realize he's been blind. He's like kicking ass.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah.
effing
Oh,
dudes up
shoot.
left and right. You don't even know
Such
he's
a good
blind until
movie.
the end. He opens the Bible, you're like, boom,
There's one.
braille.
Oh,
It's one plot hole though where he's shooting and just like hitting target.
spoiler. If you
I mean
haven't
that
seen
that
Yeah,
movie
if you've
came out
never
like
seen
10
the
years
movie,
ago.
it's ruined now.
Hey, spoiler alert for a movie that came out in like
You're supposed to give
2013.
Let's get a spoiler alert before.
Good movie though. Go watch it.
I haven't seen that movie since 2013.
it's been
I,
Good.
I watch
Good
it once a
movie.
year.
All right, Ben.
Mm.
What if somebody asks you this question? Apple or Android?
Oh my God. Really? You're going to end on this?
Depends on the person. I would say.
No, it
Depends
doesn't.
on the person,
It
so you're
does
going to
not.
adjust your answer based
I
on the
will.
person.
Well, I'll
so
say
he's trying to
that,
keep the other person happy is what he's doing.
I'll say that
It doesn't depend.
Apple has a more user-friendly interface,
It's opinionated.
and you can only do so much on Apple though. If you want to have more freedom, customize your phone or whatever,
Or make phone calls.
you can go with the Android, but the Androids like get really hot from my experience after a while.
They always said, what is it? Apple for security, Android for privacy.
well,
Apple
yeah.
does have good security. I'll give Apple that.
Mm.
Yeah, now they're starting to.
Yeah.
All right. Good information. Ben, last question.
Right.
Oh my God.
What if someone asks you for a recommendation on a bagel? They want to go
A bagel.
They want to select a bagel. What should they select?
I'm not a big bagel guy, but I would just say plain bagel with sausage, egg, and cheese on it.
That's a sandwich.
What kind of bagel are we talking about?
That was your recommendation. I asked you
Yeah.
for a bagel. That's what you say.
Other people might go an everything bagel with cream cheese. That's my girlfriend's
Blueberry.
preference.
Blueberry.
Samantha?
Everything with peanut butter.
Samantha, bagel recommendation?
Peanut butter's good.
Plain with cream cheese.
Chris?
Blueberry with some.
Uh-oh.
That's
we got an
Android.
Android.
That's
going
an
on.
Android.
Android's going on.
Android got angry.
Got pissed that I said that.
It's a
So-
software update, all right? Calm down.
So Chris, you're getting a blueberry bagel.
Blueberry, and then they have like these flavored cream cheeses. Good,
Mhm.
really delicious. Maybe
Okay.
blueberry with some blueberry cream cheese. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Kevin?
I ate a lot of bagels in the penitentiary.
Mhm.
By far, I think everything bagel with peanut butter
You
on
worked at the
Mm.
penitentiary.
it. Right, yeah, volunteer. Yeah.
Every time that Kevin brings up the penitentiary, for everybody that listens to the podcast, he was a correctional officer. He wasn't.
I know I look like a felon, but we run background checks here.
Anyway, so bagel with peanut butter.
I say everything bagel with peanut butter, man. Good to
All
go.
right. Lexi?
So mine's kind of similar. I was actually surprised that you said that right before me. I thought no one was going to say that. But like a plain bagel or a blueberry one, like Chris said.
Good,
but then
good
you put it in the toaster.
Of course,
Get,
that was
like-
expected.
Get it like hard on the outside, but still soft on
Oh,
the
yeah.
inside. Then you
Oh,
put
yeah.
peanut butter on it. The peanut butter melts.
Oh, shit.
And
Lexi
whether it's
knows her
with
bagels.
blueberry or a plain bagel,
Oh,
it's pretty.
So Lexi's big into
She's
the
a
bagels.
bagel expert.
You're big into the bagels.
I got a better question.
Mm.
Breakfast food question.
Oh, we're running out of
What
time,
is the
boys.
more elite breakfast food? Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
That's a
Egg
wrong.
Waffles.
That's a wrong answer.
Pancakes.
Stuffed French toast?
It's
Waffles.
literally just bread.
It's
Egg
the right
whites all
answer
day.
is waffles.
Eggos.
The right answer is waffles.
Egg
I do
omelet.
like
Chocolate chip
but
waffles from Waffle House.
Chocolate chip pancakes.
Or blueberry waffles from Waffle House.
Those weird
Just
peach
Eggos.
ones you got one.
No,
No,
those are not
not
good.
good.
I got a lot
Peach and
of
chocolate
Eggos
chip,
at
I think you did.
Bottom line is waffles. That's
All right, guys, we're wrapping
Okay.
this up. So that was some what if scenarios. We got a couple more we didn't go through. Maybe we'll have to do this in the future. Would love your feedback. The listener would love your feedback. So let us know if you like this kind of discussion, this kind of random scenario topics.
Tell
thrown
us
out
your
there.
apocalypse plan.
Tell us your apocalypse plan. Throw it in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, throw it to us on socials. Whatever you like to do, throw it to us in your email. I'd like to do that too. info@caninerevolutiondogtraining.com. So anyway, appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for all the feedback we've been getting on the podcast. Really appreciate you guys. Hit up our merch. Hit up our apparel.
Do it.
We've got apparel for sale. We have for October only, which this podcast will probably be released. Okay, so this podcast is going to be released while October's still in play. So you'll have a couple days left.
You ain't gonna get your shirt in
You
October.
probably have about 5 days left to place your order, right, by the end of October for these special shirts called the Nice Pity Shirts, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It actually has 2 of Ben's own pitties on the
Revolution
shirt.
pities.
JoJo, who's one of the
Good-looking
OGs, and then Ara, right? So those are on the shirt. Go check that out. Get it before the end of October because it won't be available after October, right? But we also got other shirts. We got tank tops. We're about to have some hoodies out. So hit that stuff up. We got more plans for the apparel coming up. A lot of getting a lot of good feedback on it. So appreciate you guys' support. Proceeds from October are going to go to support some breast cancer organizations. Also, we do take some of the profits from the apparel and go to training for dogs that are coming out of rescues or shelters that need rehabilitation and then rehoming after that. So that goes to support that. So we appreciate your support. It also supports this podcast. So good to go there. Appreciate the listener for your support. Send us a review. Good to go. All right, I'm going to start blabbing. And we'll see you on the next episode.